Hi there, Dr. Randall Hansen here, and this is another installment of my tips for success. This one deals with 5 keys to making successful presentations. I have witnessed thousands of presentations, whether that's professionally, personally, or in the classroom, and I think I'm a pretty good expert at giving you some key advice for how to present well. So whether it's a personal speech you have to make, a family reunion, or whether it's a professional speech to the department, to the national sales organization, whatever it might be, or it's just to the community garden club or some other event. Here are my 5 keys to a successful presentation. Number 1, the presentation is well planned. And by well planned, I mean you get all the details that you can about the presentation. When it's going to happen, how long the speech is, how long the broader meeting might be, who the audience is, how many people they expect in the audience, what the facility looks like, what the layout is going to be, if there's technology or no technology, what elements of technology do they have? Do they have a pointer? All these things, whatever you need, everything you possibly need about giving that speech. That's the first one. Number 2, well researched. I don't care whether you're talking about family stories at a family reunion or giving a technical speech to a professional group, you need to research the topic. You need to find those stories or find that professional details and present it. What I like to do in my presentations is do a handout at the end, which includes sort of a summary of the key points as well as the sources I use. So if someone in the audience wants to get to the original information, they can. But even if you're giving a speech based on your opinion should be based on factual information. So research, research, research. That's number 2. Number 3, the speech is well prepared. And by well prepared, I mean you know how to craft a speech. And crafting speech basically starts with a beginning, a middle, and an end. In the beginning, you introduce the speech and yourself. The middle is the meat of the presentation, X number of points, like in this one, 5 keys to a successful presentation. And then the end is a conclusion where you wrap it up, maybe summarize those 5 tips one more time, and thank the audience. Well prepared also means you know how to manage the time that you're given so that your time of your speech falls into the right category. For example, if you're doing slides, and I'm not going to go into how to do slides in this presentation, I'll probably do a separate video on that, but think about 1 to 2 minutes per slide as you're doing that. And of course, the next key will help you even more. Number 4, the 4th key to a successful presentation is well rehearsed. The more you rehearse, the more you get closer to the actual timing of your speech. Now be prepared. I always like to rehearse and end my speech probably at least a minute or two earlier than the time allotted, because you'll find, and when you give the speech, time all of a sudden expands and you then start getting close to running out of time. And you never want to run out of time. I mean, that's, if you have to, it's fine, but it's kind of, if you're in a speech about the 6 topics of whatever and you're only on topic 3 and you're out of time, that kind of doesn't look good. So rehearse it, rehearse it, rehearse it. The other benefit of rehearsing is you edit your speech as you go along. I can't tell you how many speeches I've given where I thought I had nailed the speech the first time, and then as I rehearsed it, I either added information or I took information away or I modified information or I reorganized the information. So rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. You don't have to memorize the speech. In fact, I think you shouldn't memorize the speech, because then you kind of get too robotic as you're giving the presentation, and maybe some monotone too. But don't be so flippant that you have to refer to your notes all the time, read your speech, even worse. Or, as I've seen sometimes, where people have a slideshow and they hit the next slide and they look like they've never seen that slide before. It's like a deer in the headlight. So rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. And then finally, the fifth key to a successful presentation is well presented. And well presented means, again, getting good sleep the night before, dressing for the occasion, whatever that might be. For me, in my videos, I like to have my professorial outfit on, my shirt and my tie. In social situations, of course, it might be something totally different. But just dress comfortably, but also for the occasion. Number 2, make sure you introduce yourself. Now, I know if you're lucky, in most places you'll have an MC or someone who will introduce yourself and your speech, but in the cases that they don't, introduce yourself so you don't just jump right into your speech, especially nervous speakers do that. Number 3, be calm, relax. Take a deep breath. As nervous as you might be, just relax. You know the topic, you've planned it, you know all the details. Just go out there and hit that out of the park. You'll be great, okay? Number 4, have good posture. If you're nervous, look the part at least. You can have that nice posture, you can look around, you can be confident. People that are kind of hunched over or nervous, they look nervous. So cue the audience with your posture. And then finally, number 5, being well presented is make eye contact. And there's a neat little trick you can do. Now, it depends on how large the room is, but I'm talking about a large room where maybe you have 20, 30, 100, 500 people. You want to pick at least 3 points in the room and pick 3 individual people, one on your left, one right here, one over there. And so as you're speaking, you can talk to each one, and not only does that person think you're talking to them, but all the people around them do. And it's just a really neat little trick to do, and it makes you not be robotic again, just stand there staring straight ahead, but you're looking around talking to people as you're going through that process. So those are my 5 tips. Plan it well, research it, prepare, rehearse, 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 and then present it well. And then just in some concluding thoughts I have, make sure you have a backup plan. Technology often fails us, whether that's the presentation file getting lost or the projector bulb burning out. So just be prepared. I always have a backup plan. In terms of the file for the presentation, if I'm doing a slideshow, I email it to the organization. I keep it on a flash drive. I have it up in the cloud. So multiple ways to research that in case one gets corrupted or lost or whatever the case might be. And then, of course, I usually try to have handouts so that people can follow along. And also, I include the sources on the handout. So again, if people want to find the original source, they can. But handouts are great, so if the technology does fail, you still have, the audience still has something they can kind of follow along as you present it. And then finally, my last tip is the subject of another video you can watch. But if you're really, really nervous or you've never given a speech before and you have no idea how to even start organizing it, consider finding a Toastmasters club in your neighborhood. You can go to toastmasters.org and type in your zip code and boom, you'll find a club. Toastmasters is a nonprofit organization around the world that is geared to helping people learn the craft of giving speeches, and they do it in a very nurturing and caring environment. And any of the clubs that I've ever attended with Toastmasters have also been just fun, funny, interesting, moving speeches and great people. All right, so until next time, here are my tips for how to do a great presentation, and I wish you much success.